Just before we get started with today's video, this is all to promote what's going on right now over the next few days. It is the rest of the voting days for the Football Content Awards. Let's get there. So there's ways you can vote. You can vote via the website. I've left the link to the Football Content Awards in the description of this video, so please go and check it out. The nominations close until midnight on Sunday the 4th September. You can also vote via Instagram. Simply head over to the Football Content Awards Instagram page, click on the relevant category image and tag the Instagram account of the chosen winner in the comments. You only have one vote per category. You can also vote on Twitter using the below tweet template. I am voting for @the nominees Twitter account, in @the FCAs for, and then hashtag the category. So in terms of the categories, I would love to win Best Club Content Creator for the Football League, Best New Content Creator, Best Content Creator and Best Influencer. It would be really great to be involved in any, or nominated in any of those categories this year, or potentially win those categories this year. So please do go and vote in the Football Content Awards this year. And now let's zoom into the video. Hello there everybody, I am the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers fan and YouTube and social media sporting journalist, and today's another Matchday Launch Show. It's not going to be a massive one today. We haven't got any interviews lined up, so I do apologise for that. There isn't any other Papa John's Trophy predictions either, because of the fact that it would just take a long amount of time. So we're just going to be focusing on this game today, reviewing the Northampton match as well. But enough from me. Here's what's coming up on this week's show. I'll be sharing the history of the opponents for Doncaster Rovers this week, Newcastle United. I will be reviewing the Northampton match, my player ratings and final thoughts, and I'll be predicting the upcoming Papa John's Trophy match. This match is just as exciting as a penalty by Georgie Miller. All that and much more is coming up on this week's show. But we're going back into the original game that we had to interview, and that was Northampton Town to review, sorry. Now, obviously, that was a 1-0 win down at Sixfields in League 2. We are still unbeaten. We are third in the table. What a result for the lads. I would say apart from the first sort of 10-15 minutes from Northampton and sort of maybe the last few minutes with that spell of pressure for a late equaliser, especially with that Danny Hilton header right at the end that went wide, I felt, apart from those moments and a couple of little spells here and there, we were the better team going forward. I felt like Northampton was very isolated going forward. I felt like Northampton was very isolated going forward, and I felt like their creativity was lacking for me. But I think Rovers have done exceptionally well to handle the spells of Northampton pressure, because they did put something together in certain moments. But like I said, I felt like we were the better team in that game. I felt like we had a really good spell of possession at times. Northampton had their spells of pressure as well. I felt we were really trying to get our rhythm going. We could see the way we were trying to play. Northampton, especially in their more comfortable spells, I could see the kind of subtleness they wanted to play. But I also saw them go a lot more long ball than I did in previous attempts where I've seen Northampton playing highlights of them playing in previous games. So Northampton, I think with Northampton, I think John Brady's still trying to get his starting 11 together, his best starting 11 together. But that was one of the harder games to get over and done with, and when we got the 3 points, so I'm really happy with that. And I could see the way we were trying to play. I could see the kind of football we were playing. We were playing it around, passing it around the park, playing the through balls, breaking them down, getting down the wing, doing what we need to do. And for me, you know, I couldn't fault the way we played. I really couldn't. So overall, I felt like we were really good, really well oiled. And I mean, Bobby Faulkner. What else can I say about this guy? 18 years old. Absolute star in the making, bright future ahead of him for me. Proper no-nonsense centre-back, getting into everything, pressing, marking down the man. Really bright, exciting future for this lad. He's only 18 years old and he plays like a proper pro veteran. So Bobby Faulkner, for me, is going to have a lot more time to grow throughout the league this year. I think Lee Tomlin again had an exceptional shift. I felt like Clayton marshaled the midfield again very, very well. Rowe did his job very well. Molyneux did well. Miller pressed for everything, worked for everything, got his goal from the penalty spot. Really nice penalty take. Did I think it was a penalty? I don't know, really, to be honest. I felt like Lee Tomlin definitely made the most of the contact, but there wasn't a lot from what I could see. So, to be honest, I didn't think it was a penalty at first. A lot of Northampton people said afterwards it was a stonewall penalty, but I don't know. From the contact, I didn't really see a lot of contact. So, we'll take the penalty anyway, but I just didn't think it was as clear as other penalties, for example. But it was a good penalty by Miller. I loved Lee Tomlin rallying up the Northampton fans in the corner as well. I thought that was quite a nice S-housery moment for the squad. But you know, we need that kind of S-housery. If you know, you know. And overall, yeah, I felt like we were a well-oiled machine, big time. Let's get into the player ratings. Starting off with Jonathan Mitchell. For this particular game, I'm going to go for a decent 8 rating for Jonathan Mitchell. I think that's a fair judgment of what he's been doing this week. Back four, Rowe, Faulkner, Williams, Noyle. I'm going to give the fullbacks an 8, Williams an 8, and Faulkner 9. Faulkner gets man of the match this week for this particular game. I think Rowe did exceptionally well down that left-hand side, marshalled it quite well, dictated the play a little bit. Noyle was quick and easy and defensively well-rounded as well. Rochelle Williams put in another great shift. And for me, like I said, Bobby Faulkner, man of the match. No need to say any more about Faulkner. He's just an absolute machine at the back. And while Anderson's injured, I think we're all right in terms of centre-backs. In terms of transfer business, I don't think a centre-back is a priority because we've got Faulkner now, who can play at a very nice high level. Clayton, Biggins and Tomlin in that midfield. Clayton and Biggins as the two defensive mids, and Tomlin as that centre attacking midfielder. Lee Tomlin, I'll give him a 9. Again, exceptional performance, really well-rounded. Adam Clayton 8. I think marshaled the midfield very, very well. Biggins 7. I think he made a couple of mistakes here and there, but you know, his work rate is still top notch and his ability can still keep getting better. The front three, Hurst, Molyneux, Miller, all get 8. Miller up front gets an 8 for his pressing ability, his penalty taken well, and his work rate throughout the match. Hurst, again, on and off the ball, very well placed and positioned as a winger. And Molyneux, again, just worked really, really well and did well overall with the squad. All three of the substitutes, Agard, Long and Calais get 6s. Didn't have a lot of time to make an impact, but they did what they could. They kept the game solid and kept it well round at the back. McSheffrey, I'm going to give him a 9. I think, again, the substitutes did well just to hold the game off and sort of keep it to 1-0 and not concede a goal, etc. And the fans get a 10. Fans absolutely get a 10 rating from me. The fans were exceptional. I think that the atmosphere around the place before, during and after was just top-notch. And the fans, for me, get a 10 out of 10. For that apparent reason. Now, we go into our next game against the Newcastle United Academy. So here's a bit of history on Newcastle United. The first recorded game of football on Tyneside took place on the 3rd of March 1877 at the Ellswick Rugby Club between two scratch teams, one of 8 men, one of 9. The 9 men won 2-0 and soon afterwards Newcastle's first Tyne Club Tyne Association was born. Another side, Newcastle Rangers, started life in 1878 and first played on the dual field in Gateshead because they couldn't not find a pitch north of the river. They eventually moved across the Tyne, taking over an enclosed ground ground close to Lasers Terrace in September 1880. The pitch was immediately referred to as St James's Park, but Newcastle United's origins are to be found with two minor football clubs on the east of the city across Byker, Heaton Stanley and Rosewood. Stanley had originated from a cricket 11 formed in November 1881, the rudimentary start of Newcastle United, although some official records note that the club were playing an unorganised game a year earlier. As Stanley progressed, they were often confused with other clubs of the same name in County Durham, so they decided to change their title in October 1882 to Newcastle East End. As West End struggles continued to the brink of collapse in 1891-92, they offered their lease of St James's Park to East End. Within a week, a deal had been agreed, and in May 1892, East End formally agreed to move to St James's Park, as well as taking over what remained of the defunct West End's assets, including some of their players. Tyneside had now only one senior club. East End's first game at St James's Park took place on the 3rd of September 1892 against Glasgow Celtic, a prestigious friendly won 1-0 by the visitors in front of a 6,000 capacity crowd. But crowds of that size were rare, and in a bid to attract more spectators, it was decided that a radical change had to be made. A December meeting at the Bath Lane Hall, a goal kick from St James's Park, East End's directors persisted over an open discussion on the future of football on Tyneside, and it was agreed that the club should dispose of an old title of Newcastle East End in a bid to attract a wider support from the city as a whole. Several names were suggested, but voting was almost unanimous for one in particular. So on Friday, the 9th of December, 1892, East End became Newcastle United, although the legal title of the club was not altered for several more years. Led by future legend of the club Jackie Milburn, I've got his poster on my wall, Newcastle returned to the top flight in 1948 and won 3 FA Cups in a period between 1951 and 1955, in a streak that would have earned them a reputation as cup specialists. Even though the following couple of decades would see Newcastle making deep runs in both English Cups, additional silverware was hard to come by. Since their foundation in 1892, they have won 4 league titles and 6 FA Cups, which makes them one of the most successful English clubs of all time. In addition to that, they spent an impressive number of seasons in the top flight. Their long-standing rivalry with Sunderland, colloquially known as the Timeware Derby, is one of the fiercest local derbies in English football. In the early 1990s, the club turned a new page by appointing Kevin Keegan as manager. The change in personnel immediately yielded results as Newcastle stormed back to the top flight in 1993. After hitting the jackpot with a big name signing such as David Ginola and Alan Shearer, Newcastle almost ended up overthrowing Man United in 1996 and 1997, finishing as runners-up on both occasions. They also lost the FA Cup finals of 98 and 99 before returning to relative obscurity at the turn of the century. Mike Ashley bought Newcastle United in May 2007 from Freddie Shepherd and Sir John Hall for £134 million. He did no due diligence of the club and was unaware it was £100 million in debt. It was a surprise move at the time, with the retail tycoon branching out into the world of football club ownership. His time in charge was popular to begin with and was often seen drinking with supporters at away matches. He even travelled with fans to the arch-rival Sunderland and stood with them in the away end wearing a Newcastle replica kit. Sunderland refused to welcome him to their corporate box due to his choice of attire, and this went down a storm with the Newcastle faithful. After sacking Sam Allardyce, Ashley further endeared himself to the Toonarby by replacing Big Sam with club legend Kevin Keegan. Keegan's second spell on Tyneside was to be short-lived and was gone within 9 months. Keegan struggled with the influence of director of football Dennis Wise, who had been instructed to bring in young players and sell them at a profit. Keegan resigned in September, having early claimed to have been sacked in a meeting with Wise and managing director Derek Lambias. Keegan won a court case later on for a constructive dismissal, and Ashley was made to pay him £2 million. As far as the fans were concerned, the damage was done. In October 2009, Ashley changed the name of St James's Park to incorporate his chief business interest, Sports Direct. Ashley said he did this because he was attempting to bring in investment, though new sponsors. Newcastle fans were outraged at the thought of this club losing its heritage and campaigned for this not to happen. Loads and loads of protests against Mike Ashley happened when finally, in recent times, Ashley sold the club, and the current owners, led by Amanda Staveley, with a sharing the ownership from the Reuben brothers and the Saudi Arabian capital investment, will bring a new era to the club with Eddie Howe as manager and players such as Alan St Maximan, Joe Linton and also Dubravka, if he doesn't go to Manchester United, being part of that era, alongside many other up-and-coming talents and new talents from the transfer market, including Bruno Guimaraes. Now, let's have a look at my predicted lineup for the Academy game in the Papa John's Trophy. So in goal, I've gone with Lewis Jones. I think this is the time where we see Lewis Jones make his impact. I think that this is the game where you see Lewis Jones given the full 90 this time. I think Mitchell will deserve a rest. And this is the time where we see Lewis Jones given a chance to play some football. For the back four, I've gone with Maxwell, Long, Petch and Seaman. Now, Petch is obviously a youth academy centre-back, and I think he will get some minutes to start off with in the senior squad for this game, again opening up that pathway for the youth academy to come through into the squad. I think Maxwell starting. Now, the reason why I've got Maxwell starting is because of the fact that he didn't get minutes at Northampton. And I think this would be a great way to ease him back into that squad, just to ease him back from fitness and just give him those minutes again. Adam Long, again, as well. We didn't know whether he was going to be fit for Northampton. He was fit enough for the bench. I see him starting this particular game. And Charlie Seaman at the right back position. Now, Charlie Seaman, the reason why I've done that is because, again, minutes. He might be loan listed. He might have been told to go out and find a club to go on loan to this summer. However, I think we should still try and keep playing him in these kind of off games, these sort of fringe games, cup games, just to keep giving him minutes and keep him fit, ready for which club he goes to on loan to, if he does go on loan this summer. Now, we've got a midfield three of Liam Ravenhill, Jack Rapper and Jack De Grucci. I think De Grucci could potentially be fit for this game. Ravenhill and Rapper, I think, again, Rapper a youth academy, Ravenhill a former youth player, could be given minutes in this particular game. The cam position could be different, though. De Grucci, if he's not fit, it could be changed. And, you know, you'd expect someone else to maybe play in that position instead. And finally, the front three, Tavonga Kulea and John Taylor on either wing with Kieran Agard up front. Agard given his first start of the season. Again, just giving more minutes in the tank. Kulea on the left, a very technically gifted young player and definitely one for the future. John Taylor coming back from injury, given his first minutes, and for me would be the right move. So, let's predict the scoreline for this particular match. So, let's predict the scoreline. Now, this is a tough one because Newcastle have got some bright prospects in their academy. Matthew Bondswell at left back. You know, I believe Santiago Munoz is in their academy as well. I know he was brought in this summer. I believe he's more involved with the senior team, but I'm not sure too much on the ins and outs of Newcastle. But I think Munoz may feature. You never know, do you? Like I said, Bondswell's a good youth left back who's got previous experience in the EFL. So I think again you got some interesting prospects at Newcastle. Be interesting to see what kind of team they field against us in their academy. I'm going to stick with my 2-0 prediction that I mentioned on TikTok earlier today. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for us, and we'll start our Papa John's Trophy group off right. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe. It has been a short one today. It's not been the biggest matchday launch show in the world. Obviously, we're not predicting any of the other Papa John's Trophy matches because that's just too long. We haven't got an interview lined up this week, so I do apologise for that. But we will have an interview lined up ready for Mansfield on Saturday. But for now, guys, I am the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers fan and YouTube sporting journalist and social media sporting journalist. Keep living the Rovers life, and that is full time.